Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show that is a show of shows that are shows as well. A human amongst humans. Aha. And here I have with me, my name is John Oxenford, and here I have with me the noble Michael Koran and the noble Sarah Brett. Two good people to have on the show, as always. This is the Gospel of John we're reading. And the character John is of the Christian faith, and he baptizes people. He's sort of a saint or a person of God. And there's also Jesus Christ, and he is the Son of God, the creation of God. Um, and he is there sort of trying to help people out, and they question his identity, and he performs miracles. So we were just done with the first page of chapter 4. Um, yeah. Um, and he's just sort of talking to these women at the well, and he says he can draw the water of God or something. And they ask him to prove it. So I think we're on the second page of chapter 4.
Wow. I feel that often that there's a well that is it a well? It
Yeah.
might be a spring
Oh,
that
there's
comes through me, or it's called a source. Sarah, anything like that?
Yes, I think if you open yourself up to it, slow the pace down, really sit and feel the source will show itself.
And that can inspire me to speak or move. Yes?
Yes.
It feels lovely. I get so angry when it's not there.
I understand. Me too.
I'm trying to use the anger to fight through whatever's blocking it in me or others to release. Sometimes that works.
Yes.
Ah! That helps.
Yes.
So I want to go on.
Sorry,
You want to go on?
with the story?
Yeah.
Sure. I can start reading if we're all ready.
Okay.
Okay. Jesus said, "You're right. You don't have a husband. You've had 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not really your husband. What you said is true." The woman said, "Sir, I gather you're a prophet. Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, but you people say that Jerusalem is where people should worship." Jesus said, "Woman, trust me, the time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You worship something you can't see. We worship we can see. Uh, Jews have the key to being saved."
Wow. What do you make of that?
Um, well, as I remember in the previous pages, the people of God, can see the world of heaven. I think that's what he was talking about. Um, and since this woman was not of God, she couldn't. To she worshipped maybe something that according to Jesus was not there, did not exist. Um, a false god, maybe.
Or maybe just a version of God,
Hmm.
but the Jews had a better understanding of
Mm-hmm.
God than.
Mm-hmm.
And what is God, or who is God for us today?
Mm. Well, I might believe a little bit more in God if tomorrow it doesn't absolutely downpour, as the weather said, because
No,
I
why is
suspect
that?
to be. Hmm?
Why is that?
Because it would seem as though God relented on the ferocity of the weather so that I could get what I need to do done tomorrow without too much of a um,
Deluge.
yeah, without the deluge, without too much of a yeah, that's something that I'll work it out either way, can't be afraid of the rain, just have to put your raincoat on and go. But it's just it's weird, we're having we had what they were calling a drought. I mean, in November, you know. The weather's been pretty weird past 3 years. I know it got up to 70 degrees in the winter 2 years ago, maybe last year as well for a week. 2 years ago it was like 2 weeks in the summer weather. So I suppose I would sort of chalk that up to global warming and um, human beings not being conscientious of the health of the environment. But sometimes, have you ever had a moment where you just have a really interesting thought and the sun starts shining? Like all of a sudden, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. Shall I continue?
Sure.
Okay. Um, Jews have the key to being saved. Time is coming and is here, in fact, when people will worship the Father in spirit and openness. The woman said, I know that a Messiah is coming, called Christos. When he comes, he will explain all this to us. Jesus said, Yes, and this man is talking to you now. I am he.
Wow!
Yeah.
What do we do if that was happening?
Was it looks like
If that
Jesus said,
if that happened to us, or maybe it is happening, and whoever we're talking to, because there's the Messiah in all of us, according to the Christian. There's that part of us, like we were talking about the source, that wants to go out and bless and care for everyone.
mm,
Is that a feeling of wanting to care for more and more people and for the world?
hmm world peace?
And we have that in us that we really want it?
Definitely, definitely.
Well, Sarah, but any
I think
must go ahead.
no, no, I just people talk about what they manifest. And I think keeping on the believing is so important and having the faith.
And yours?
And what's the question? I'm sorry.
And what is your faith?
It's believing in what's too good to be true.
Wow.
And may we all have what you've to what we never could imagine in our wildest dreams.
Whoa.
That's a nice challenge.
Wow. It's quite ambitious.
It's funny. I know, people in life, some people are super, super positive. Some people are very, I'm going to say realist, but to the point where they're like, that'll never happen. And the energy that you get from from spending time with the people that, believe in what's too good to be true and, keep the faith. It's just, they're just a lot more fun to spend time with, and be around that kind of energy.
Wow. And that is true for you this year, yes? Better
Yeah.
than you imagined?
Yes. And I've heard you say the same exact thing about friendships and relationships. You it's people surprise you and have so much more to offer than you ever would have thought.
Wow. Can you think of an example?
I'm gonna say, for example, some of my coworkers, all ages, and it's nice to be super close to someone who's in their late 60s and super close to someone who's 24, and just kind of realizing that, just there's a lot of goodness out there, and just if you're open-minded to all kinds of situations and people, you'll find the good stuff.
And you have.
Yes.
This year you have beyond your dreams, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I also a coworker started 3 months ago who has a personality disorder, who is trying to bring people down and be in charge, and it's there's camaraderie, everyone recognizes it, but it's just you figure out what works and you find ways to just focus on that and just don't let the other stuff get in the way. Just keep things
Uh,
as simple as you can.
love it. You don't have to answer, but can you think of an example of that?
Well, I mean, work is one example where this person they hired is trying to bring people down, and stuff used to really bother me. This person doesn't like me. What's wrong with me? My go-to default is, what's wrong with me? Um, when in fact, yeah, I want to work on myself and have some more self-awareness, but some of the time it's not about me. It's about this person that just wants to she said, if you mess with me, I bite and I want to be in charge. That's pretty much two things she said. So that's one example of just staying focused, going into work, staying in your lane, staying focused. Another example is the person I'm dating. It was very complicated at first, and the person was really struggling a lot. And the person was thinking, you know what, it'd just be so much easier if you met my ex-wife and my kids right off the bat, and then we'll just simplify everything. And it's so nice to know I have met neither, and there's zero pressure, and it's just focusing on getting to know each other. So just the
That's huge.
simplification has made all the difference.
That's huge.
It's huge, and it makes you realize, wait a second, maybe all these conflicts people have with each other is just an overcomplication of the situation. And if you got to the core, and the core was, I don't want to be a rebound. I have to trust that I'm not a rebound, and just take it one step at a time. And this person isn't using me for the support that's just I'm gonna be pulled into this family situation.
And
So
you're succeeding.
so yeah, I got to the core of what the issue was, um the trust came from that, and then now it's staying in my lane, staying out of the situation, and it's simple. And it really, I think, more and more I reflect back on different relationships and relationships of others, and it's common to just complicate things. and not realize what we're doing. We're doing that.
Yeah, mine is getting simpler too.
Yeah, good.
We're planning, well, this might not sound simple, but we're planning to elope,
Amazing.
and it does change things. I mean, I know I'm now going to be a brother-in-law of her brother and part of her family. I'm not sure that's simpler or not. It seems very simple to decide to get married after 14 years.
Yeah.
And just, I'm not sure I can describe it any other way.
Hmm. I'm very excited for you. Very, very excited.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand it very well. Yeah.
I think our minds complicate things, and many people's minds default to fear, and many people's minds complicate things because of that fear. And if you just live in the moment more, and if you learn how to simplify, and I think it can really just make a big difference in terms of level of happiness and satisfaction.
Well, I might be surprised. I have been married once. What's different this time is we both believe in compassionate communication, which at the heart means we don't want our partner to do what they don't want to do.
Beautiful.
You know, we don't want you and my wife. I have a dear friend, when he got married, said to his wife, now that we're married, you have to cook, clean, and shop for me. And she said, no way, Jose, even though his name wasn't Jose. And they went to a marriage counselor, and the marriage counselor said, he can say whatever he wants. You just don't have to listen to him. And that was the end. Again, Sarah, a simple end.
I love it.
What could have been a complex problem.
I love it.
But I'm still not sure, and maybe don't need to be. It felt good to plan to get married.
Mhm.
It felt very good. It felt we were going out of a maybe zone. Maybe we'll be together, even though she moved in, to okay, we're going to be together. And that helped make it very simple when the time was right. Well, any comments on this? John Joshua William Oxenford?
Yeah, I think this sounds like some awesome stuff that's going on in both of your lives. Um, yeah, I'm grateful that both of you have that. It's awesome, really happy for you guys. Um,
I can say both of us can relate in that relationships have always been very challenging. And to quote Michael, relationships are challenging, especially with yourself.
Oh boy, that's not what I said, but I love it. I said relationships are hard, especially with other people.
Oh.
Yours might be yours might be truer. Yours might be truer.
I can see how those would be, how those are similar though. Relationship with self, yeah. I mean, I've been in,
No, no.
I just got my last.
Yeah, I was gonna sit in that back room, but someone was over there.
Totally fine. Yeah.
I've been an only child since I was born, and I'm living in my own place now, but it helps me feel more grateful when I get to hang out with people, because, I couldn't be with myself forever.
Yeah.
That would totally just be unhealthy. So, I was actually probably, I mean, I could blame the pandemic, but it was like this for a while. I would just be totally lazy and just, binge out on food. And I just, now looking back at that, I'm just so grateful that I had people who came to, who called my phone, and people who wanted to hang out and stuff like that. And if I'd been left to my own self, I probably just would have, you know, vegged myself out to depression. So now I try to sort of remember that and realize, oh, well, yeah, I actually want to hang out with people. I actually want to have these conversations instead of just thinking, oh, I wonder what's on YouTube. Oh, yeah, just go back home and eat my dinner and all that stuff. It's good to have people who want to talk and want to keep a conversation going.
Very nice. What's next, John?
What's next is in the book,
Yeah.
and the book is here, and the time is coming, and is here, in fact, when people will worship the Father in spirit and openness. The woman said, I know that a Messiah is coming, called Christos. He will come, he will explain all of this to us. Jesus said, yes, and that man is talking to you now. I am he.
Wow, he's not shy. He's not shy.
No,
Not the most humble thing in the world to say.
maybe not. He's the Son of God. I don't know. He could say that if he wants. At this point, the followers returned and were surprised to see him speaking with a woman, though no
One
one asked.
question. If we were talking to someone and they said, I am the Christ that is coming to make a better world, what would we say?
Can he cast a spell?
Wow.
Or can you prove it, right?
Yeah.
I tend to think that it's everybody they came to talk to or comes to talk to you to save you out of your depression and into interaction.
Mm.
And the Christians do say, many, maybe most, there is the Messiah in all of us.
Mm.
And the Messiah, one of its meanings, its basic one, is the anointed one. You just get anointed with oil the way a man becomes a king. And there's one philosopher in America, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who says everybody is a king or queen, which I believe. King John, Queen
Michael,
Sarah,
Queen Sarah.
King Michael. Wow, it feels nice actually. Sarah, what do you think?
I agree.
Wow, that's a vibe to share. That's a vibe to share. We're talking to a goddess and a god. We have, as Sarah was saying, unbelievable potential, unbelievable power to do way more than we believe. I think did you define faith? as belief we can do way more than we know. It's good to remember. And maybe if we touch into the source that's going through us, we can just keep springing beyond what we know. That's comforting, John Joshua William Oxenford. That's comforting.
Yes, it is, Michael Koran. Yes, it is. That's very good. Yeah. Just to hear other people say that they believe we can go beyond our the potential we think we can. That's good. It gives a lot of hope too. You know, I feel
And I
like
wonder,
I feel like I agree with that, and I might say that myself. But when other people say it, it makes it even more true.
so John, you're a son of God.
So are you.
Wow. And so now that might help us get through the day,
Yeah.
recognizing that everybody is, even when they irritate us.
Yeah, it can brighten up the day.
Yes, I had one friend who was very irritating, and he always asked for more. Would you buy me some basketball sneakers? Just says it out straight. Would you buy a lift for me? And I got very irritated. And then I realized he's an extremely loving friend of 40 years. And when I tuned into that, I actually told him, I'd love to buy you a lift and basketball shoes. And it felt so good. Because the love was way more valuable than those irritations. And I felt myself like Sarah say, I felt myself being free to want to give more. It was like something locked inside. And now it sprang free, thanks to my friend. Well, what next, John? What's next?
What is next? Yes, and this man is talking to you now. I am he. At this point, the followers returned and were surprised to see him speaking to a woman, though no one asked, "What do you want?" or "Why are you talking to her?" The woman left her water jar behind and went to town and told people there, "Come and see a man who told me all the things I've done in my life. Could he be Christos?" Those people left town and came to see Jesus. Meanwhile, the followers were urging him to eat, but he said, "I have food that you don't know about." The followers said to each other, "Did anyone bring him something to eat?" Jesus said, "My food is to fulfill the desire of the one who sent me and to finish his work. Isn't there a saying, 'In 4 months the harvest will be here'? I'm telling you now, open your eyes and look at the fields. They're no longer green, they're ready for the harvest. Even now, the reaper is being paid and piling up rewards for eternal life. Those who plant and those who haven't can be happy all the at can be happy at the same time. In this regard, the saying is apropos. One person plants and another harvests. I sent you to harvest crops that you have not worked on. Others have done the work, and now you join in their labor. That's epic.
Well, I think there's lots of harvesting going on, even in the hardest of times, which we might be going into. I'd love to keep this faith if I can. Sarah Brett, how can we keep this faith when we go through hard times?
That's a really, really good question. I've heard it's like a muscle. You just have to exercise a little bit each day.
Oh my.
And it comes down to really putting one foot in front of the other.
If I get
Just like if
down,
you're hiking a steep mountain and you don't have a choice, because whether you go down, going down is going to be really rough on your knees. You're already halfway there. There's no, you're not close to the start or the finish. So what do? People say it's just a mental game, and you just literally put one foot in front of the other.
maybe I need something like a cross or some reminder to keep the faith, because it's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
I can get down when the meal I order from the red lentil isn't very good. And I can get down. Not very nice. I try to laugh at whatever bad thing happens. I think I told you what a contradiction is in co-counseling. Do you remember?
I would love to hear it again.
Okay, that's a nice answer. So there was a man whose lawyer stole money from him, and he was pretty down. And the contradiction is to say what happened and say you love it and say you laugh. I love the fact that my lawyer stole money from me. I love the fact that my lawyer stole money from me. I love, and if you laugh, even if you're crying, that restores you to better spirits. My partner's mother says it will all work out for the good in the end. So did my grandmother. And if it's not good yet, it's not the end. I think that's true for all of us. Yes? It's working out. Would you say that, John?
Say again.
That it's working out for the good, your life?
Yeah, yeah. Things are getting better. It seems to be pretty consistent.
Yes.
I was just thinking of something. I have a little story. It sort of helped. It gave me a little faith. Um, I used to. It's 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 usually okay now, but I used to have a bad leg. I used to walk, and around 3 p.m., if I was walking a long way, my calf muscle would kind of seize up on me, and my ankle would my knee would buckle, and on my right leg, um, and it went away for a good half a year. And then I was walking back from my drum lesson the other day, and all of a sudden my legs start seizing up every step. Every step, I couldn't even walk at some points. I had to just stop, and I could hear voices of just kind of anger and this kind of these hellish beings that were just kind of thinking about hurting me, and I was just hobbling, and I said, what can I do? I can get a bus right now and I can go back home and hobble back home and wait until my leg recovers. I thought, well, I have groceries to do. What would a person do? What about those people that have to carry, bags and bags of groceries home and, don't have a lot of money and have to work so hard, and I'm here just worrying about my legs. So I went and hobbled over and got my groceries, and my leg stopped seizing up after about 20 minutes. And I walked back with my groceries. And one of my main goals recently has been to lose weight. And I was probably about 193 pounds, but I thought, oh yeah, I didn't really do much cardio. I didn't do much walking because my leg was was hobbling. So I'll probably gain weight tomorrow. And then I looked at the weight the next morning. My leg was fine. And I looked at my weight the next morning, and I'd lost about a pound and a half. And I hadn't worked out. I ate a lot at lunch actually, but I just felt so grateful, almost not grateful that I had the leg, but grateful that it seemed like whatever that was controlling my weight gave me this gift of just being about a pound and a half lighter, just because I decided to suffer through it, get my chore done and walk back home. And so that kind of thing gives me faith a little bit.
I had somebody, oh, you seem to agree, sir.
I'm sorry?
Sarah seems to agree.
Oh,
Just about faith. I think so much is letting go. We're so hard on ourselves in general. Most people are very hard on themselves. And if you I think if you stop, you let go of this, I should look a certain way, I should be this weight, I should. And you just like enjoy more. I think you just notice like you're not beating yourself up and everything gets a little easier. You no longer have the energy put on the shoulds. And I think you're in more of a like freer state. And I think things naturally just develop better things ahead just by letting go of the societal shoulds and the shame.
Yum. When I had a bad back for 27 years, I used to be a mover and I moved pianos and refrigerators, and I hurt it. I also wasn't good at letting go. And 27 years later,
What age to what age?
35 to 60.
Wow. And this was extra work you had done as a mover that injured your back?
Yes, and also my holding back in general in life. And I read that Dr. Weil, who's written a book on remission, spontaneous healing, recommended just what John did. Even if your back is in spasms, through your daily activity, walk and get groceries, don't freak out if your back starts hurting, keep doing what you're doing. And for me, and for many, not for all, that helped heal my back for the rest of my life.
wow.
Which is pretty much what you did, John.
Yeah, I just it almost felt like a test almost, just sort of a part of me was just kind of I just wanted to I felt like it was coming from somewhere else. I felt like it was coming from a evil power, and I just kind of wanted to spit in its face and just say, "I'm going to keep on walking, man." I just wanted to, and it felt
Lovely.
like my calf was going to seize. It felt like my shin was going to break, but it wasn't painful. It was just physically, it felt like I was going to be disabled. But I've had it before, um, and I knew it was going to get better the next morning, so I just sort of got my chores done.
Great.
Yeah.
What's
So
next?
yeah.
What time do we have now?
Hmm?
What time is it?
What
Six
time is it?
48.
Okay, yes, onward. Another 12 minutes. Onward. Another
Onward,
9 minutes. 9 minutes.
onward, onward. Many Samaritans in that town trusted him because of what the woman told them, especially, he told me all the things I've done in my life. Therefore, when the Samaritans went to see Jesus, they asked him to stay with them. He remained there for 2 days. Many more of them put their faith in him because of things he said. They told the woman, "We trust him now, not because of what you told us, but because of what we have heard for ourselves. We know that he is truly the Savior of this world." After
And
2 days,
what do we make of this? Number one, if we were there, Samaritans are a branch of Judaism. Most Jews believe that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. The Samaritans had another capital, and the Samaritans just believed in reading the Torah and not all the commentaries on the Torah. And so for Jesus to make friends with them is like in Romeo and Juliet, different gangs or families who were opposed all of a sudden were welcome. So Jesus was reaching out beyond his people to some other people that were like them, but were very different. So how would we feel if some strange person was meeting us in this way? What was the strangest person, one of the strangest people you've ever met? Wow, what was one of the most strangest people you ever met? Or was everybody strange? Was everybody strange?
I think everyone's a little strange, right? Everyone's got
Uh,
character from ancestors, things get passed down, past traumas.
maybe to see the strange as a blessing, as someone who could help us.
yeah, I mean, I suppose there's different types of strange. I've met some people who I never could have thought of myself. Like, you couldn't write a script about it, but they were entertaining and fun to be with. And I met other people who were strange in a bad way. I didn't want to talk to them at all. So, I suppose this person's kind of strange is that they have superpowers, and if I saw that, I'd start believing in aliens and stuff.
Last question.
Hmm.
what we're reading is an encouragement to believe in Jesus. We're not reading it that way. We're seeing Jesus as one person who has Christ energy in us, because some Christians believe that we all have Christ energy in us. We all are kings and queens, or sons and daughters of God. So I know you're not Christians, so what do you make of the difference between what this Gospel of John is trying to get us to believe and what we're learning from the Gospel of John? Because I think it's inspiring our faith, but it's a little different. Although we could simply say, we would like to believe in the Christ or the Messiah or the King and Queen-ness of all people we meet. That would be something. Even the hard ones that Sarah Brett has to work with. What would it mean, easy for me to say, to think this is a daughter of God, or this is a princess, or a queen, or a goddess? What would that mean? How would we behave?
It's interesting. I mean, I just look at that as societal labels that don't mean anything.
Or whether they're a daughter of God doesn't mean a thing.
Well, I think the whole the queen and I just who decides all that, you know? I just think you know, I had an experience like growing up where I was in the starter home neighborhood. Everyone was struggling financially, and then we moved to the bigger home in a different neighborhood, and it all of a sudden I wasn't playing with the kids and it wasn't as friendly, and I just thought, you know what? Like money is so not important, and just having community friends, um you know, people that have management positions, you often hear it's lonely at the top. You know, so once you do have that tier or caste system, life can get a lot lonelier. And who decides what? So that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I was thinking of that while you were speaking. You know, why does it have to be that the people with millions of mountains of money get to have the nicest stuff? You know, why don't they just create the nicest stuff for everybody? You know, you don't have to sort of segregate, okay, paradise is for the wealthy. You know, you just, if you know someone who makes a good couch who lives next door, can you make me a couch for my
Right.
place? You know, and then that person gets popular and anybody can ask them for a couch. You know, and I mean, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, and see the joy of poor people who need one another. Those are good final thoughts, and you wouldn't have anything to add.
I'm all set. I think I said everything.
I'm going to say, may everyone find togetherness in our differences.
Wow, love it.